Okay guys, the 1GD70 series, so the 4-cylinder auto. So JMACX currently have all of their GVM approvals in place for this vehicle in leaf and coil conversion. Now, in a leaf suspension, we do a 3.9 and a 4.2, very much like what we did on the V8. In the coil conversion, we do the 3.9, the 4.2, and a 4.495. Now, with this particular 1GD, we have gone out with AEV in Townsville and done full GCM testing to meet the post-rego guidelines. Now, whilst we're aware a lot of people or some companies will do GCM upgrade, you know, which is probably not really going to work in a real world situation. They don't have the axle loads, you know, things like for manual vehicles, you know, GCM, you need a clutch under testing on the V8. There's things like that that are missing. So we've undertaken the full Australian standard LS16 GCM upgrade approval, which we've passed. So on the new GD, we're going to offer a 3.9, a 4.2, and a 4.495. Now, all of those dual cab variants can be optioned with a chassis extension, except the 4.495, which will be a mandatory chassis extension, and that's due to weight distribution. So the 4.495, you can't not have a chassis extension on the dual cab. On a single cab though, you're not required to have a chassis extension. So the single cab variant, because of its weight distribution, the way it's set up, you don't require a chassis extension. So there's multiple variations on that. Now we're also going to add the option of a GCM increase. Now, under our testing and everything, obviously people concerned about what the 4-cylinder can and can't do. The Australian LS16 test is a very grueling test. It is very demanding on the car. So it really sets those parameters of what we need out of that car to get where we need to go. So when you option for our GCM increase package, there will be a recalibration of the engine and gearbox. Now, this is not a performance tune as such. It's a recalibration to deliver the power on this vehicle to where it needs to be to keep the gearbox, engine temperatures, and all of those things in a safe space. But to also put into that vehicle, you know, protection modes and things like that. So it's to be able to do that properly. So the options are going to be there. Jump on our website if you're interested, but those approvals are up and running and ready to go. And now that we have all that GCM testing for Australian conditions, we can now say to people, pre or post rego, if you're in a different state than Queensland are the ones that adopted the LS16 code. WA, we've sent paperwork to WA, transport for their approval, and other states as well. So we have all of that documentation, but if you're in another state, you would need to talk to your installation facility, who would then talk to their local engineer, and worst case, JMACX can provide all of that documentation to the relevant state department, relevant engineer, or whatever's required. But interesting, so you're going to probably see something come up soon. We had a bit of a discussion, you know, with the guys at Pro Touring and Norweld and quite a few others, Just Autos as well, who all have the 79 Auto. And to be honest, guys, everyone's a bit hesitant about going from the V8 to that 4-cylinder, but they're actually very, very impressive for what they are. And I think, you know, that auto box scenario in that car really changes that car, but they're actually really good to drive. We really enjoy driving it. We're really impressed with how it performs and what it does. And a lot of people will say, well, okay, so the chassis extension on that 4.495 we used to do for the V8, or we still do for the V8, are you going to run the super chassis? No, we're not. And the reason we're not going to do it is because that super chassis was also designed to be able to go to 4.5 ton tow on that V8 series. Because we're keeping this at 3.5 ton tow, keeping in mind, this is a 4-cylinder, so it's not the V8. So it is a smaller engine and configuration. So we're going to keep that as a 3.5 ton tow, but our new chassis design is completely different to what we've done up to date. It's a full new design chassis to increase the strength and stability in that car at weight. So if you're interested in that package, contact us at jmax.com.au, our HQ, or one of our facilities.